In the lush and verdant lands of Nyambura, two boys named Keto and Malu were born into neighboring families. They grew up as the best of friends, inseparable since their toddler years. They shared toys, meals, and dreams, creating a bond that was unbreakable. The villagers often remarked how rare and beautiful their friendship was, for wherever Keto went, Malu was sure to follow, and vice versa. As they grew older, their bond only strengthened. They chose the same profession and became skilled hunters, providing meat for their village. Their hunting skills were unmatched, and they were known far and wide as the best hunters in Nyambura. Together, they ventured into the dense forest, tracking and capturing wild game with remarkable precision and teamwork. One day, as the sun rose high in the sky, casting its golden rays over the land, Keto and Malu set out on a special mission. They had received an order from Chief Afolabi, the wealthiest man in the region, who desired the finest bush meat for a grand feast. The chief's request was an honor, and the two friends were determined to meet his expectations. As they approached the chief's grand compound, they were greeted warmly by the guards and led to the main hall. There, they met Lela, Chief Afolabi's beautiful daughter. Lela, with her radiant smile and graceful demeanor, offered them food and palm wine. She sat with them, engaging in light-hearted conversation. "You look so handsome," Lela said to Malu, her eyes twinkling with admiration. "And you are extremely beautiful, my lady," Malu replied, his heart fluttering. As they continued to talk and laugh, a deep connection blossomed between Lela and Malu. Keto watched his friend with a smile, happy to see him so entranced by Lela's charm. After their meal, Keto and Malu bid farewell to the chief and his daughter, promising to return with the finest bushmeat. As they left, Malu couldn't help but glance back at Lela, who waved at him with a shy smile. That day marked the beginning of a new chapter in Malu's life, one filled with love and unexpected twists. Over the next few weeks, Malu found himself thinking about Lela constantly. Her laughter echoed in his mind, and her kindness warmed his heart. Whenever he and Keto went hunting, he couldn't wait to finish their work so he could visit the chief's compound. His visits became more frequent, and each time, Lela welcomed him with open arms. Their relationship blossomed quickly. They spent hours talking about their hopes and dreams, sharing stories from their childhoods, and laughing at each other's jokes. Lela admired Malu's bravery and skill as a hunter, while Malu was captivated by Lela's intelligence and compassion. They were a perfect match, and it wasn't long before their affection for each other deepened into love. One sunny afternoon, Malu mustered up the courage to ask Chief Afolabi for his daughter's hand in marriage. With a heart pounding in his chest, he approached the chief with humility and respect. "Chief Afolabi," Malu began, bowing low, "I have come to ask for your blessing. I am deeply in love with your daughter, Lela, and I wish to marry her." The chief studied Malu for a moment, his eyes piercing but kind. "Malu, you are a brave and honorable young man," he said. "I have seen the way you care for Lela, and I believe you will make her happy. You have my blessing." Overjoyed, Malu thanked the chief profusely. That evening, he and Keto celebrated the good news. Keto was genuinely happy for his friend, though a part of him wondered when his own time would come to find love. The wedding was a grand affair. The entire village gathered to celebrate the union of Malu and Lela. They danced and sang late into the night, celebrating the love that had brought two families together. Keto stood by his friend's side as the best man, proud and supportive. As the newlyweds settled into their life together, Malu's happiness seemed boundless. With Lela by his side, he felt invincible. Their love story had just begun, and it promised to be one filled with joy and prosperity. While Malu and Lela enjoyed their blissful married life, Keto began to feel a sense of longing. He was genuinely happy for his best friend, but seeing Malu with Lela made him yearn for a companion of his own. He often found himself daydreaming about meeting someone special, someone who could fill the void in his heart. One day, as Keto was wandering through the village market, he noticed a young woman selling fruit. She had a radiant smile and a warm, inviting presence. Her name was Amora, and she was known for her kindness and generosity. Keto felt an immediate connection to her and decided to strike up a conversation. "Good day, Amora," Keto greeted her with a smile. "Your fruits look delicious." "Thank you, Keto," Amora replied, her eyes lighting up. "Would you like to try some?" Keto accepted a ripe mango, savoring its sweetness. As they chatted, he found himself drawn to Amora's gentle nature and quick wit. They talked for hours, sharing stories and laughter, and Keto felt a spark of hope ignite within him. Over the following weeks, Keto and Amora spent more time together. They went for long walks in the forest, enjoyed picnics by the river, and attended village festivals side by side. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and it wasn't long before Keto realized he was in love. One evening, under the light of a full moon, Keto took Amora's hand and looked into her eyes. "Amora, you have brought so much joy into my life," he said softly. "I can't imagine my future without you. Will you marry me?" Tears of happiness filled Amora's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Keto. I will marry you." Their wedding was a simple yet beautiful ceremony, filled with the love and support of their families and friends. Malu stood by Keto's side as his best man, just as Keto had done for him. The village celebrated the union with music, dancing, and feasting. As Keto and Amora began their life together, they were filled with hope and excitement for the future. However, their journey would soon be tested in ways they could never have imagined. Keto and Amora's married life began with joy and hope, but as time went on, they faced challenges that tested their strength and resilience. While Malu and Lela welcomed twin boys into their family, Keto and Amora struggled to conceive a child. Despite their love for each other, the absence of children weighed heavily on their hearts. Every night, Amora prayed to the gods, asking for the blessing of a child. She followed every piece of advice given to her by the village elders and tried countless remedies, but nothing seemed to work. The pressure from Keto's family added to their distress. His mother, in particular, was harsh and unforgiving, constantly blaming Amora for their childlessness. "You are useless," Keto's mother would scold. "I am sure your womb is barren. I will find my son a new wife who can give him children." Amora bore the insults in silence, refusing to reveal that it was Keto who had been diagnosed with a condition making it difficult for him to father children. She didn't want to hurt her husband's pride or cause a rift in their family. Instead, she endured the blame and continued to pray for a miracle. Keto, on the other hand, felt immense guilt and frustration. He couldn't stand seeing his wife suffer because of his condition. Despite his mother's constant harassment, he stood by Amora, defending her whenever possible. One day, Keto decided to take drastic measures. He visited the village herbalist, hoping for a solution. The herbalist, after performing various tests, confirmed that Keto's condition was the reason for their childlessness. Desperate and heartbroken, Keto returned home, unsure of how to break the news to Amora. That night, as they sat by the fire, Keto held Amora's hand and looked into her eyes. "Amora, I have to tell you something," he said, his voice trembling. "The herbalist confirmed that I am the reason we can't have children. I am so sorry." Amora's heart ached for her husband. She wrapped her arms around him and whispered, "We will find a way, Keto. I love you, and we will face this together." Despite their struggles, their love for each other remained unwavering. They knew they had to support one another through thick and thin, and they promised to never give up hope. Little did they know, their greatest challenge was yet to come. The months turned into years, and still, Keto and Amora remained childless. The pressure from the village and Keto's family continued to mount. Keto's mother became more vocal and relentless, constantly berating Amora and insisting that a new wife was the solution. One night, Keto could no longer bear to see his wife suffer. In a moment of desperation, he proposed a radical idea. Amora, he began hesitantly, I have been thinking. Perhaps you should have a child with another man. Just this once, so we can have the family we always wanted. Amora was shocked and appalled. How can you even suggest such a thing, Keto? I vow to be faithful to you, and I will not break that vow. Keto pleaded with her, tears streaming down his face. Amora, I can't stand to see you suffer because of me. The village mocks us, my mother torments you, and I feel like I'm failing you every day. Please, just consider it. Despite her initial refusal, Amora began to see the desperation in Keto's eyes. She knew how much he wanted a child and how deeply he was hurting. Torn between her vows and her desire to ease Keto's pain, she reluctantly agreed to consider his suggestion. After much discussion, they decided to ask Malu for help. Keto believed Malu was the only one they could trust with such a delicate matter. One evening, Keto invited Malu over and confided in him, explaining their desperate situation. Malu was taken aback by the request. Keto, this is not a decision to be taken lightly. Are you sure this is what you want? Keto nodded, his face filled with determination and sorrow. Yes, Malu. You are my best friend, and I trust you more than anyone. Please, help us. Malu, though conflicted and reluctant, saw the pain in his friend's eyes and the desperation in Amora's. After much contemplation and discussion with Lela, he agreed to help, hoping it would bring the happiness Keto and Amora so desperately sought. 2 weeks later, Amora was confirmed pregnant. While Keto was overjoyed, Amora felt a mix of relief and guilt. She prayed that this decision would indeed bring the happiness they sought and not the ruin she feared. As the months passed, Amora's pregnancy progressed smoothly. The village buzzed with gossip, but Keto and Amora focused on preparing for the arrival of their child. Despite the unconventional circumstances, Keto was excited about becoming a father and tried to push aside any lingering doubts or guilt. One warm evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amora went into labor. Keto stayed by her side, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement. After hours of labor, their son was born. They named him Obi, meaning heart, symbolizing the love and hope he brought into their lives. Keto was overjoyed, holding Obi in his arms and marveling at the tiny miracle. Amora, exhausted but happy, watched them with a tender smile. For a moment, their worries seemed to melt away, replaced by the pure joy of their new family. As Obi grew, Keto and Amora dedicated themselves to raising him with love and care. However, Keto's mother remained a persistent source of tension. She continued to insult Amora, but now her disdain extended to Obi. This child does not look like Keto, she would say, her eyes filled with suspicion. I don't trust that he is truly my grandson. Keto defended his wife and son fiercely. Mother, Obi is our child, and you will treat him with respect. Despite Keto's efforts, the whispers and suspicions in the village grew louder. People began to speculate about Obi's true parentage, and the strain on Keto and Amora's marriage deepened. Keto, who had once been overjoyed, now found himself grappling with a mix of resentment and guilt. The love and devotion they had for Obi were undeniable, but Keto's treatment of his son began to change. He became harsher and more demanding, lashing out over trivial matters. Amora tried to shield Obi from Keto's growing anger, but it became increasingly difficult. One day, when Obi was 5 years old, he accidentally broke one of Keto's prized hunting spears. Keto's reaction was swift and severe. He yelled at the boy and struck him. Amora rushed to intervene, her heart breaking at the sight of her son's tears. Keto, please, she pleaded. He's just a child. You're scaring him. Keto, realizing what he had done, dropped to his knees and gathered Obi into his arms, apologizing profusely. But the damage was done. The incident marked the beginning of a pattern of harshness that would only grow worse over the years. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, comment, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.